Good afternoon and welcome to NYFP. In midday trade on this Monday afternoon, the major averages do remain in negative territory. Joining me this afternoon is Kenny Polcari of ICAP. Hi Kenny, thanks for joining me.
Hi Remy, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Well, it's great to have you here, especially since you just got back from Italy. Now all eyes have shifted to Italy, away from Greece, although Greece is still in the headlines. Now how do you make sense of the latest developments out from the EU?
You know, they've been talking about Italy along with Greece now for a while, right? And I have to be honest with you, the sense that I got from being in Italy and talking to local people there, whether in the city or in the country, is that there's not this sense of doom and gloom or this sense of implosion for Italy. They all recognize that Greece is having a problem. They recognize that something has to be done, but there is not that sense of doom and gloom. Now, that being said, I will also say that they also realize that there's got to be a change of leadership. Although they realize that that's probably not going to happen. Berlusconi is not someone that's just going to resign because he's feeling pressure. He won't. And so they realize that. They accept that fact. But I have to tell you, it was very interesting to be there at this time to get a sense of what really the locals were feeling.
So, Kenny, how does that translate in terms of what we could see for the equity market?
Well, I have to tell you, if in fact Italy does run into a bigger problem than they're talking about, then I think we're going to see a massive kind of sell-off in the market. I think you'll see the contagion, the fear of that contagion spreading around Europe will just send this tone around the world that it's starting to crumble. Now, that being said, I don't think it's going to be that bad because I don't think, in fact, Italy is going to go down. I think that we still have the problem with Greece, although you see the market today not really reacting because it is kind of assuming that what's happening in Greece with the change of leadership there is going to be a good thing, that they are going to be able to now institute some of these austerity measures and then have their elections in February. So the market is being very cautious. The other thing I would say is that there's not a lot of volume, which all that tells you is that a lot of the big players are just sitting back and they're waiting. What they're invested in, they're invested in. What cash they have, because I think people are not really buying into this. They're not trusting it. The market's telling you they think it's probably going to get weaker.
Kenny, it's interesting you bring up volume. At a time like this, it's hard for investors to get a grasp on everything that's going around, especially volatility. But what do you make of the gains we're seeing in commodities, especially crude oil and gold?
Well, you know, gold makes perfect sense that gold should be higher because it's that sense of fear again in the market. It's that sense of people wanting to own real assets, something, not a stock, not a bond. They want to hold something that's real, and what's real is gold. And I'll tell you, it's very interesting too, is that the conversations I had with people in Italy was that they don't take their money and put it in a bank. Banks are very tight. They're not giving out credit. It's very difficult in banks. They don't trust the banks. They never have. It's kind of a way of life. They buy real assets, and so it makes perfect sense that we see things like gold, especially in all this uncertainty, that people are flocking back into the gold trade. And
what about crude oil prices?
Well, you know, I think crude oil is telling us that I would think that crude oil is up. Now we're up $1 and change today, right, on crude oil. That's kind of hoping that there's going to be this turnaround. You know, things in China are necessarily not so bad. Europe might still be on the brink, but things here, they're trying to talk our economy up here and that things are going to get better. So I think that the market's trying to tell you that it's looking for better times ahead. I'm still not buying it, right? I actually think that crude oil at this price, and if it moves higher into the $100 range, is going to pose a problem for the economy, not only here in the United States, but for the global economy. So I'm actually not excited about the fact that oil is going higher because I still think the global economy is too weak.
Okay, Kenny, well, thank you so much for weighing on all these topics and welcome back.
Thanks so much.